go.
Cook Up Academy.
I know you want it, you looking for it. I know who got it. She talk about it in every EP, leave you island. Don't nobody ever be on what she be on. This is LOL with Kiki Simone. Life out loud. So can we please get a round of applause?
Did you miss me?
Did you miss me? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Kiki Simone. Welcome to another episode of season 4 of the Life Out Loud with Kiki Simone. I am your girl, Kiki Simone. I want to first say what's up to my LOLers, to all those that are new, listening, or watching out there in podcast land. Right now, what I want you to do is go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And after you hit that subscribe button, then go ahead and hit that notification button too, so it can let you know as soon as we drop a new episode. So again, welcome. And guess what I'm going to do? Something a little bit different than I've done before. I'm going to dive right into our pink elephant, where, we talk about the real day issues, real life issues. We deal with everyday issues. We deal with what else kind of issues? I think that's about it. But we even give you some solutions sometimes. And I definitely want to make sure that I give a shout out to Visionary Visuals for making sure that the LOL with Kiki Simone is up and running as soon as we get everything all together. But anywho, I'm going to dive right into today's pink elephant, which is don't let culture. Don't let culture. So what do you think that means? Don't let culture. It might sound a little like, oh my goodness, what is Key about to say right now? Don't let culture basically, take control of your mind. And in a sense, I am really still saying that. But I'm going to talk about two things about what you shouldn't let culture do to you, okay? The first thing is you cannot, I'm listening. I'm really speaking to those, not listening. I'm speaking to those right now who are really, that have a relationship with God, right? That have some form of a relationship, has spirituality connections. What I want to share with you right now is don't let culture ruin or mess up or influence your relationship with God. And why is that important? Because sometimes, what can actually really happen is you can allow people who have absolutely no relationship with God or have seen what they think relationship or religion has shown them or taught them, and they can really try to influence you on what your relationship should be with God. And in turn, if you start listening to people like that, what's going to happen is you're going to eventually become one of those people too, right? And you're going to start listening to people who aren't hearing from God to actually doing nothing at all, right? So that's not what you want to do. So I want to kind of really speak to those who really need to take heed. And I don't know who this message is for. Heck, sometimes it still be for myself. So we are transparent here, but I want you also to think about your journey, right? Your journey with God. Your journey with God is yours, right? It's your journey. It's no one else's journey. It's not your neighbor's journey. It's not your husband's journey. It's not your wife's journey. This is your specific relationship and your journey with God. So with that stated, you can't have people influencing you. And sometimes even in your own household, you can have what some people call unequally yoked. You can have someone trying to influence you to do what God has not told you to do, and vice versa. So I really want you to kind of think about this particular pink elephant, because many times we do get caught up in listening and thinking that people really have our best interests, when really it's not that they don't have our best interests. It's really more so of they just are kind of going with the flow, and they are really trying to give you information or what they would consider to be insight of, yeah, God ain't telling you to do that. No, God would never tell you to go over here and do that. You've got to have your own personal relationship with God, and you've got to allow God to be able to speak to you. So don't let culture, because culture is going to tell you to do everything opposite of God. Culture is going to tell you to do the little things, like culture is going to tell you to lie. Culture is going to say, oh, it's not going to make a difference if you just lie about this, or if you don't tell the whole truth, if you don't give all of the truth. Or culture will tell you, you know, I can do this and get away with it, and that has nothing to do with my spiritual life. Wrong. Really, what culture and society is telling us is to do the opposite of what God has called us to do. So we've got to be mindful of making sure that we are having our own personal relationship with God. Now, is that to say that that we're never going to make mistakes again? No, of course not. Y'all heard that in my last episode, right? We're definitely going to be making some mistakes. However, the important thing that you got to remember is, who are you being influenced by? You can't have people who never pray to come pray for you. Why ask people to pray for you and you know they don't even pray? Why would you want someone to influence you with your relationship with God and they don't have one themselves? So think about that. Think about not being influenced by culture, right? For your relationship with God. I also want to kind of talk to you a little bit about, well, I'm not going to say a little bit about, I'm just going to say here on LOL, we believe in Jesus. Okay, so I just want to make that very clear. We believe in Jesus Christ, that is. Jesus Christ is Lord, and he is our Savior as well. But what I really want you all to have an understanding of from this point here is that you're not in control of your life, honestly. Really, ultimately, God is in control of your life. We just think we have control. But the life that he allows you to manage, the life that you have, it's very important that you are in tune with him and be influenced by him, his word, and things of that nature, that you have good community around you that would be able to explain to you what some things mean. Now, it's not to say that you go to everybody for everything, but I want you to make sure that you have your own relationship with God and that you're not so easily influenced of what feels good to actually do what is good for you. So the second point that I want to bring up, this is so super. I gotta come up and speak to y'all just a little bit more for this one right here, because this one right here is super, super. How can I say it? This one is super important. It is important, but it's also it can be done so easily. Okay. So we're talking about not letting culture, right? So we don't want culture to influence us in another way. Okay. Excuse me. Don't let culture define your identity. Don't let culture to define your identity. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I already know where Key is going to go with this. Key is going to say, oh, don't let culture make you drink. Don't let culture make you do drugs or go out and just have sex with whomever you want to, or just do all kind of things where we know on the external that things are bad. Now, I'm not talking about that. I'm going in a totally different direction, okay? don't let culture define your identity. And what I mean by that this time is don't let culture tell you or allow you or influence you to be self-righteous, selfless, practicing selflessness or selfishness, should I say? Selfishness. Don't allow culture to make you think that you are entitled to something. And honestly, this is something that we really deal with on an everyday basis, but we really don't realize it. We really, really don't realize it. Entitlement comes in so many different forms. And I'm going to share with y'all some of the forms. If you've not, if you don't know what entitlement is, I'm just going to kind of give you a description of that. And that's really where you believe that you are entitled, or you feel like things are owed to you and you don't have to do anything for it. That's not God. That's not biblical. Now, it's not to say that God does not show us favor, because he does, right? And favor is really when we receive things that are unmerited, that are unwarranted, because it's not anything that we've done. It's just that God has decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and bless him or her with this or that. But entitlement is something that we can easily fall into. And I can definitely say myself that I have fallen into entitlement before, not once, not twice, not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have done that for a good portion of my life. And truth be told, many of us really have. So I know I'm not in this alone, but I'm speaking to someone's going to hear this and they're going to know, oh, that's me. So I'm going to share with y'all just a little bit of what entitlement could look like for you. And that's when you have a double standard. Oh, they can't treat me this way, but I can treat them that way. And I'll give an example of that. And it would be, oh, I can treat the waitress with however I want to treat him or her, or the waiter, however I want to treat them. But when it comes to me, if I'm in a similar position, oh, you can't talk to me like that. You can't belittle me. And we have to be very, very careful of how we treat people, period, right? It's very important because it's so slick. It's so entitlement naturally exudes from us because culture tells us that we should be able to do whatever it is we want, talk to people however we want. Don't disrespect me. You better give me my respect. But then in turn, do not give respect. But real quick to say, hey, I need you to show me my respect. Also, entitlement comes in other forms, such as a bully. Entitlement comes in the form of being manipulative, manipulating the situation to get what you want because it's all about you. And we have to be very mindful of how we handle people, because at the end of the day, you know, we're handling God's people, right? Now, some people may have not come into the fullness of really understanding that, you know, that they're God's child. However, we really have to think of, how are we treating people? Are we bullying people to get what we want? Are we trying to manipulate a situation to get what we want? Do we feel so entitled that if I do this, just so that everything can come to me? And that sounds like what? Selfishness, right? Honestly, everything is about me. Everything is selfishness. If anyone has ever heard of the term narcissistic or narcissistic, however you say that word, don't judge me, y'all, okay? If you ever heard of anyone with that title, is everything is about them. Everything, their whole world is catered to them. Everything is about them. And we've got to be mindful that life does not revolve around us. Honestly, if we pass away, guess what? Someone else is going to be there to fill in our spot. If we do something that causes us to let's say if you were to lose your job, guess what? They're going to fill your spot, right? These are things that happen on a consistent basis that we many times do. And we have to be very mindful that what are our motives? What are some of the motives that we have? Another thing is seeing other people as a competition or a threat. If other people can't shine in what they're doing because you're there, then you might want to think about, do I feel like I'm entitled? Do I feel like I am self-righteous? Like, these are signs of being those things. Everybody is not your competition. Really, nobody is your competition. You are your competition. The only person you should be competing with is making sure that you are not the same person you were the day before, and hopefully for the better, right? So just thinking about being competitive, it's okay to have like that competitive, drive when you're playing a game or something of that nature. But just in general, if a nice looking young woman walks in, let's just be honest. Sometimes as women, and if our dude is there, heck, he might look, right? And then you might be like, well, dang, no. All eyes should be on me, which is true, right? Which is true. However, we can't be insecure, and I'm speaking to myself. We can't be insecure about what it is that who God has made us to be. So just having that competitive spirit that you see that other person as a threat because they might do the same thing that you do. They're in the same industry that you're in and they're excelling, and now you just see them as your competition. No, they're not your competition. You are your competition. So just keeping that in mind, because what culture will say, oh, you got to beat everybody. You always got to be the best. Oh, you always got to do this, or you always got to do that. Nobody's greater than me. Nobody's better than us. And the fact of the matter is, sorry to bust your bubble, there's always going to be someone who can do what you do and do it better. Always. Always. No matter how high or how great of a thing that you are at something, there's always going to be someone who can do it better. You can have the fastest man in the world, and someone is going to come and top that record. You can be the highest jumper, and someone's going to, in a couple years, be a higher jumper. And if you're like me and you love sports, and go Warriors, that's right, go Steph Curry. Reggie Miller set the bar for the three-pointers. And then who came after him? Ray Allen came after him. Set the bar for three-pointers. Then who came after him? Steph Curry. And he's still going. Now, I'm really intrigued to see if I even live that long to see if someone will ever beat his record. I don't know. But my point is, we can't always be in so much of a competitive spirit that we feel that no one else could ever do what it is that we do better. They can. However, I don't want you to think that I'm saying, that I'm downing self or anything like that. No, what I am saying is that it's important for us not to feel that we are better than. We are better than the next person. Also, another point, and I'm coming to the end here, a person who has entitlement issues or self-righteous issues, these individuals many, many, many times, they don't like to negotiate with anyone. They don't like to come to a compromise. They don't like to see, hey, can we meet in the middle, because everything is about them. Now, think in your mind, what are your motives for doing things? Are you a collaborative person? Are you a person that wants your whole team to shine? Are you a person that wants your entire family to win? Are you a person that once you know that you're good at a thing, you're willing to share that information with other people? Think about that. If the answer to any of those questions is no, then you might want to think about, I might have a little bit of self-righteousness. Or you might think, I might be a little manipulative, or I might be a bully. But at the end of the day, very important to understand that you are you, right? No one can be you. God will allow you to elevate in what he's given you. There's 50 million makeup companies out there. But guess what? 50 million of them are thriving. As many people as there are in the world, there's somebody for those products. So I want you to think about how you allow culture to impact you personally, your character. How does culture impact my character? Does it even impact my character? And if it has any impact on your character that's in a negative way, then you may want to think about, hey, I might need to revisit something. I might need to go ahead and say, you know what? It's time for me to reevaluate who I really am, and is this who I really want to be? Is this who people see me as? And if the answer is no to that, I really would suggest that you would just get with someone who can kind of help you talk to God and just really have a better outlook and relationship with God so that you can be your best self. Because at the end of the day, your character, that's what people see, and that's what they're going to know you for. So that is this week's Pink Elephant. Don't let culture impact your relationship with God, and don't let culture define your identity as well. So this is Kiki Simone. I hope that you all got something out of this particular element or this particular episode. And remember, if you have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and then also make sure you hit that notification button. And until next time, I'm your girl. I holla.
Don't nobody ever be on what she be on. This is LOL with Kiki Simone.